Wildcats are on even though it's noon Eastern time because it is a cloudy day. But Nick Dean kicks, fires, and the first pitch is a strike. 12:03 p.m. Eastern time here at Bob Turtle Smith Stadium for first pitch. Appreciate you deciding to hang out with us here on a Sunday afternoon. 0-1 to Pinkston. Runs outside, a ball and a strike. The umpires today, Ron Whiting at home plate. Joe Cruz is the first base umpire. Grady Smith over at second, and Craig Alden is patrolling third base. 1-1 foul back to the screen, a ball and 2 strikes. Pinkston looking for his first home run of the season, 13 RBIs. Is a threat to run if he does get on. 5 stolen bases on the season. Part of the reason you'd imagine why Josh Reynolds moves him up into the leadoff role.
Also has 18 hits on the season. Not close to the top, but definitely good enough if you want to get on base and get things going for the Wildcats.
Freshman from Smyrna, Georgia. Bases this 2-2. It's lifted in the air into left center field. That's Bobby's Marslak who camps under it. And there's one away.
Batting second, first
A good start for Nick Dean as Pinkston is retired from one left fielder to his counterpart. It's Bobby's Marslak out there in left field. Bubba Alleen out in center. Troy Schreffler at right.
Just mentioning Nick Dean. Interesting story about him just in terms of how his season has gone. He had 2 great starts back in the beginning of the season. 2 back-to-back wins against Baylor and Campbell back in the non-conference portion of this season. But things have just not gone his way really since. He comes into this game with a 3-2 record.
Big swing and a miss from Calarco. It's a ball and a strike. Yeah, Nick Dean off to a tremendous start against Baylor and Campbell. He started the season with 19 1/3 scoreless innings.
Also interesting is 2.7 ERA last year. 4th best among Big Ten starting pitchers.
Guy who got a lot of looks for Big Ten preseason pitcher of the year. He was expected to be the Friday night ace and dealt with that thumb injury back in March and just hasn't quite looked exactly the same since the start of the season in February as the 2-1 runs outside. 3 balls and a strike to Calarco, who had a big day yesterday. Had a home run, scored twice, had 2 hits. That comeback 7-4 win for the Wildcats. 3-1 from Dean, fouled away. It's 3-2. And for Dean, really the biggest issue has been the big hit. He's allowed the most extra base hits of anybody on this Maryland team. And that last outing against Illinois only gave up 7 hits, but that turned into 6 runs, 5 of them earned. The payoff pitch coming into Calarco is fouled away once again. An opportunity for Nick Dean to right the ship here on a Sunday. A bit of a different look, a bit of a different routine over the course of the week. And of course, the move to get Ryan Ramsey a Friday night start worked wonders as he hurled a perfect game against Northwestern Friday night. The ball spoiled foul. That was one of the more remarkable nights in the history of Maryland baseball. First perfect game since 1959.
10 strikeouts for Ryan Ramsey.
Special night on Friday night. Certainly made the coaches look awfully smart, moving him to Friday. The 3-2 offering is once again spoiled foul again to the third base side as Calarco just continues to fight it off. Good at-bat here between Dean and the senior infielder. Calarco over at first base today. At first base for Maryland, Maxwell Costas. Nick LaRusso at third. Up the middle is Matt Shaw at short. Kevin Keister at second. This ball is bounced over towards Costas. It will once again be foul, and the battle will continue.
Not a good start for Nick Dean, allowing a lot of pitches now in a 3-2 count.
Yet another payoff pitch. That's a tremendous at-bat for Anthony Calarco. And he is aboard with 1 out here in the top half of the first inning. Decent Northwestern traveling support, and they made their support heard. Here's Bashirs, who struggled Friday night for Northwestern. Went 0 for 2 and then got pulled in the 4th inning. Yesterday, though, had a sacrifice fly in the 8th inning and a double in the 9th. Drove home a run with that extra base hit late in the ball game. First pitch to him here, runs downstairs, 1-0. Bashirs did ground into a 6-4-3 double play that ended the first inning yesterday. You know Nick Dean would love for a similar outcome here in the top half of the first on Sunday.
It's 48 hits, leading this Northwestern Wildcats team.
This one's bounced over towards LaRusso. To second base for 1, on to first base. Around the horn go the Terps in the top half of the first inning. Another double play gets Maryland out of the first inning this time around here on Sunday. Schliger, Alleen, and LaRusso, the top third of the order today, as per usual for Rob Vaughn's club. And Schliger starts out 1-0. 11 stolen bases on the season for Maryland's catcher. 39 RBIs as well. It's been an excellent year for him offensively and defensively. Also on the outside corner, it's 1-1.
Cool stat, he's been caught stealing 6 times. That actually leads the Big Ten, but got to get on base first.
Been aggressive, and that's been a boom or bust situation for Schliger when he does go on the move from first. Runs outside, it's 2 balls and a strike. For Comstock, he had a brief spell in March where he didn't pitch. Between March the 5th and March the 27th, he didn't toe the rubber. We'll see how long that Northwestern trusts him to go today. He hasn't thrown more than 82 pitches his entire Northwestern career, very young career, just a freshman. As the counts even up to Schliger, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Comstock was given some good run support in that last outing he had against Michigan State. Northwestern actually went up 2-0 in the bottom of the first, but he couldn't hold the lead.
Yeah, Comstock's been the beneficiary of a lot of run support so far this season for Northwestern. He's thrown in 7 games. Wildcats have put up 45 runs in those. Owen sliced foul over towards the third base side. Long run for Vincent Bianchina. He's not going to get there. Northwestern scored 10 or more runs in 2 games that Comstock has pitched in. And yet still just a 2-5 record in games in which he's towed the rubber. Rob Vaughn hoping to make that 2-6. What a season Rob Vaughn has put together with this Maryland Terrapins club. Ranked number 23 in the latest polls. Tremendous numbers here at home. 18-2 despite the loss yesterday. Ball's popped up in the air. Shallow right center field. Ethan O'Donnell coming in, calling for it, and making the catch, and there's 1 away. Aline, the switch hitter, in the lefty batter's box with the righty Comstock on the hill.
What a season Bubba Aline is having. No? 59 hits, 14 home runs. That's leading the Big Ten. 49 RBIs is 3rd in the Big Ten. Not too shabby either. Coming into this game hot also. 4 runs, 13 RBIs in his last 5 games.
Top 10 in the conference in stolen bases as well with 16. One of the leaders on and off the field for Maryland this year. He's ahead in the count here, 2-0. Aline's always shown the power that he has certainly displayed this year, but he's taken it to a whole nother level, coming back for that extra year after a disappointing outcome in the Greenville Regional last year when he was hit by a pitch in the very first at-bat of the Regional. It's now 2-1. Missed the rest of the tournament and decided to come back for 1 more year, some unfinished business. And he's leading this Maryland team to new heights. As I mentioned, Maryland 18-2 at home this season. They're one of just 5 teams in the top 75 of the RPI with 2 or fewer home losses. Going to be another long run for Bianchina over towards the third base side. He's going to run it down. Nice play from Vincent Bianchina in foul territory, and there's 2 away. The nation looking like world beaters at the moment. First pitch to Nick LaRusso is hit in the air. Right field line, Bashir's giving chase and going to drop foul and out of play. Nick LaRusso's really turned it on in the last couple of days after a tough, cold spell in the middle part of the month of April. 4 straight games with 2 or more hits, including 4 RBIs over his last 2 games. Had a home run and 2 RBIs 1 day ago. RBI double back in the first inning. You drive home Bubba Aline. 0-1 on the outside corner, 0-2 to the transfer from Villanova. A lot of Philadelphia connections in the top third of this order. Aline from Philly, and then LaRusso from Villanova just outside.
You mentioned that home run, part of a 2-game home run streak for Nick LaRusso. Also, first game of the series homered in that 13-0 win.
In fact, the extra base hits have really come alive as of late. He's got 5 in his last 4 games. 3 doubles, 2 home runs. He's really turned back into the player that had a long hit streak in the early stages of the month of March. 0-2 to him here. Fastball that runs outside. Nice take from LaRusso, who's had a pretty good eye all season long. On base percentage over 400 at .413. 21 bases on balls so far this year.
Maryland leading the Big Ten in walks with 224, tied with Rutgers.
This one's popped up in the air to the right side, though. The first baseman, Calarco, camping under it. and a 1-2-3 inning for Grant Comstock in the first. Nothing doing for Maryland, and we're on our way to the second inning. No score at Bob Turtle Smith Stadium. And then yesterday, a big Northwestern comeback with 7 runs in the last 2 innings. Here's Steven Rustich to start off the second inning. First pitch misses low and outside, and it is 1-0 to Northwestern's DH. Batting average isn't necessarily where Rustich wants it to be, 209 average, but 9 home runs, 27 RBIs. He's ahead in the count 2-0.
Mentioning comeback yesterday, I think it was only Maryland trying to get the comeback. It was really Northwestern dominating in that top of the 8th bullpen implosion.
This one's a foul ball to the right side. Costas, a long run for him, and he's got just enough room to make the catch. One gone here in the second inning. And a lot of the play happening in foul territory at the moment. That's the 3rd out recorded in this ballgame by either team in foul territory.
A little bit of a scary situation for Maxwell Costas. Just look it up, making sure it doesn't run into that wall. Here we'll see it again. It's a good run from Maxwell Costas. Has to look up and just make sure it doesn't run right into that wall, but just 5 or 6 feet to make that catch.
First pitch is in there to Vincent Bianchina, and it is 0-1. Third baseman, who had a huge day yesterday, played a big part in that 8th inning comeback. The 2-strike, 2-out double, or 2-out single rather, to score 2. Bases a 1-1 count here. See the numbers for the Northwestern third baseman. It's behind in the count now here, ball and 2 strikes. That 1 home run that you saw came back at Illinois on April the 15th, a couple of weeks ago. Series against a Fighting Illini ball club that doing awfully well this year in the top of the Big Ten, sitting in 3rd place. 2-2 now. 3rd place by win percentage, 2nd place in terms of the numbers of games back against Rutgers. Only 2 behind the Scarlet Knights, the Fighting Illini are. And Bianchina has worked the count full. Maryland sitting 2nd place in win percentage, 3rd in terms of number of games back of the Scarlet Knights, 2.5 behind Rutgers right now, but Terps will have the chance to get all that back next weekend in Piscataway. 3-2, foul tipped into the glove of Schliger. First strikeout of the day for Nick Dean, and 2 gone here in the second.
That's a big at-bat for Nick Dean. It was his 2nd full count of the game already. We're just in the 2nd inning. He needed a big out, and he got it.
Here's Bennett Markinson, the backstop for Northwestern. 2 for 4 with an RBI 1 day ago. Freshman from Tarzana, California. One of a number of young players on this Northwestern team that are really starting to build something. You look at the amount of freshmen or underclassmen in general on this Northwestern ball club. You have the Friday night starter, Sean Sullivan. Markinson, a freshman. Patrick Herrera, who is due up on deck, also a freshman. Vincent Bianchina, just a sophomore who we've met. Tony Livermore, the shortstop, just a sophomore. Is a young ball club. Jay Bashir's just a sophomore as well. That one's bounced out to another sophomore, Matt Shaw, who is able to make the play and a 1-2-3 inning here for Northwestern in the second. Both pitchers have been rolling in the early going in College Park. We'll be right back. Scoreless game on Big Ten Plus. To a good start, Maryland 22-6 when scoring first. First pitch is in there. It's 0-1. Of course, Maryland scored first yesterday in the bottom half of the first inning. Still can come up with the win. It was the first game since April the 2nd, that loss against Penn State in extra innings, where they lost after scoring first. Maryland's had a lot of success when they're able to draw first blood. Certainly makes sense, Ben. Of course, Maryland pitchers, every pitcher would love to pitch with the lead. You can be a little bit more aggressive. You can take a little bit more chances, especially offensively as well. But yesterday, that Northwestern late inning rally was able to do the trick. 2-1 to Shaw.
You're seeing already Maryland is getting under the pitches. All 3 outs in that first inning came on fly outs. So the bats are warmed up. They're ready to go. It's just a matter of when they're going to find a little more accuracy and start going for the Terps.
It's a 15-pitch first inning for Grant Comstock, fairly efficient for him. But Shaw ahead in the count here, 3-1. Shaw with 10 stolen bases is a threat to run if he does get on. Slugging percentage over 500. He has really started to turn the corner in the month of April.
Had a big home run yesterday. Made that game 5-3 as Maryland started that comeback you're mentioning before.
Lifts this one in the air to center field, right at Ethan O'Donnell, though. And there is one away. Shot hit that. Here's Maxwell Costas. Tough day for him at the plate yesterday, 0 for 3. Certainly has plenty of power in him, though. Tied for second in the Big Ten in home runs with 13. 1-0 to him.
41 hits as well. Comes in around 4th on this Maryland Terrapins team.
Terps team that is second in the Big Ten in runs scored. 1-0 to him here is popped up in the air. That's shallow right field. Going to be a long run for Bashirs as the second baseman, Herrera, who's able to run it down.
Looking all the way up for that one. His hat flying off just between the gap between first and second. But
Troy Schreffler up next. 335 average on the season for him. 0 for 3 at the plate yesterday. First pitch to him here is in there. It's 0-1. Schreffler, the right fielder, just about all season long for Maryland this year, was over in left field for much of the year a season ago with Randy Bednar in right, but Bednar now in the Seattle Mariners organization, so it's Schreffler's right field. And he lifts this one in the air to center field. That'll send O'Donnell back a couple of steps towards the track. He looks up, it's gone! Solo homer for Troy Schreffler, his 7th long ball of the year, and Maryland strikes first here in the second. And every single of the 7 home runs, he seemed to get his money's worth this year. So that one runs downstairs to Bobby Zmarzlak, speaking of pure power, and it's 1-0.
He had a home run back against Illinois a couple weeks ago. 490 feet.
Yeah, that ball was into the parking lot, way beyond left center field at Illinois Field. 1-0 is swung on and missed. It's 1-1. That parking lot they set apart a little bit further back from the wall to try and protect the cars from the field of play, but can't really do that when Troy Schreffler's at the plate and he gets into one. Absolutely turned around on that baseball last weekend against the Fighting Illini and sent this one to straightaway center.
Always makes me wonder is how the car is here. Obviously, we have the road right behind the Bob Turtle Smith Stadium. How many foul balls get out of here that no car has been hurt yet, as to my knowledge.
Yeah, if you're playing soccer out there beyond the center field wall, you have to be heads up as well. The practice field's beyond the center field wall, a bit obscured by the batter's eye. 1-2 from Comstock to Zmarzlak. Bounced foul, heads up by the Maryland dugout. You weren't on the top railing before, you certainly are now. And Drew Grace appears to be just fine.
You know, just talking about the Smith Stadium here in Maryland, looking at the picture of, it was Dick Wright who had the last no-hitter. They both took that iconic picture round at the pitcher's mound. And just seeing how much this stadium has stayed intact, obviously everything behind it a little bit changed in the years since 1959, but Maryland baseball program is stronger than it's been in a long time, and it's great to see that the Bob is just holding up.
Looking to go perhaps to their first super regional since 2015. The 2-2 to Zmarzlak just missed the outside corner. Tough take on a 2-2 count, but guy they call Bobby Z is able to work the count full. Went to the regionals last year, got to the regional final, was knocked out by East Carolina, and Maryland certainly with high aspirations this year after a really strong start to the season, their best start in program history, and they've kept it going now into the month of May. Payoff pitch to Zmarzlak. Spoiled foul, will do it again. You mentioned that was a really cool moment that Ryan Ramsey was able to do to replicate the perfect game picture that Dick Wrights took 63 years ago. Full circle moment for the Maryland baseball program, and what a night it was on Friday night in College Park for this Terps team. Comstock trying to finish off Zmarzlak, swung on and missed. First punch out of the day for Grant Comstock, and the side is retired, but the damage done. Troy Schreffler goes deep, and it's 1-0 Maryland after 2. We'll be right back on Big Ten Plus. Solo home run for Troy Schreffler. First pitch, a good-looking fastball to Patrick Herrera, and it's 0-1. Here you see the numbers for Herrera. High batting average, the 1 home run, 12 RBIs on the campaign.
Really impressive freshman for this club. 23 hits, 12 RBIs, and we mentioned that home run. Does have one of those RBIs in this series against the Terps.
Freshman from Mesa, Arizona, talent-rich state. He swings and misses that one. It's 1-2. Was ranked the number 63 overall player in the state of Arizona in his high school class by perfect game. 15th ranked shortstop. He's played more second base this time around, with Livermore patrolling shortstop for much of the year for the Wildcats. 1-2 from Dean, well outside. Came into this series awfully hot, Herrera. He was 8 for his last 14 over the last 4 games. Last weekend series and then the midweek win against Milwaukee. The 2-2 is on the outside corner. Second strikeout of the day for Nick Dean. One gone here in the third. Change in his spot in the lineup can kickstart some offense for the Northwestern center fielder. Takes a curveball in the inside corner, just off the inside corner, 1-0. Combined 0 for 7 in the last 2 games against Maryland. Obviously, everyone went 0 for 3 Friday night. He rocks this one in the air, fouled on the right field line over toward the street. It's 1-1.
Does lead this Northwestern Wildcats team in he's second. Third, actually, in hits with 43. 30 RBIs as well, but 9 home runs. Tied for first.
Takes that one upstairs. That's 2-1. He had a streak back in late March and early April of 7 straight multi-hit games. He had a 6 RBI day against Southern Illinois. 2 extra base hits against the Salukis in that contest. He's ahead in the count here, 3 balls and a strike.
Last RBI was actually a home run, came last week, April the 24th against Michigan, so we'll see what he's got in his back pocket today.
1 for 5 in the 2 games against Maryland a season ago. Bases this 3-1, fouled right back to the screen. The count runs full. O'Donnell, still just a sophomore. We've talked about the youth movement for this Northwestern team. Under 500 in the Big Ten last year, right at 500 in the Big Ten this year, and the best is ahead for this Northwestern club, to be sure. Putting together quite a bit of talent from around the nation. They've recruited well in the Illinois, Indiana area, but they've also gone out west and down south. And a nice emergency swing rather, for Ethan O'Donnell to keep himself alive as he was out in front of the off-speed pitch from Dean, and the count stays full. O'Donnell from Highlands Ranch, Colorado. Long flight from the Denver area to the Chicagoland area. And the payoff pitch once again from Dean. It's popped up in the air to the left side. LaRusso fighting against the lights, and he's called off by Shaw. Was able to make the catch, and there's 2 away. Pop-ups could be an adventure here over the next stage of this ball game with the still overcast sky up ahead. The lights are on, and it's not going to be easy to track the baseball.
White on white is really hard to see. Like, imagine playing ping pong in a room with just a bunch of windows. Very hard to track that ball and get your coordination down to make those catches.
Livermore hits one down the right field line, just foul out of the reach of a diving Maxwell Costas. It's 0-1, and then you factor in the wind that's blowing out to left center field. That certainly doesn't bad. Bobby Zmarzlak ended up bouncing 10 feet to his right. The 0-1 swung on and foul tipped into the glove of Schliger. It's 0-2. Ended up being a triple for Zmarzlak. Certainly not his most impressive one, and what looked like a routine flyout. As the 0-2 is hit to the right side, that's a base hit, and the first knock of the day for Northwestern. Tony Livermore is aboard with 2 outs in the third, and that'll flip the lineup card around for the Wildcats.
Livermore with a hard hit to that gap between first and second, exploiting it. Only the right fielder, Troy Schleffler, back to make the play for the Terps. Gets there in time and prevents Livermore from getting any further than first base.
See if Livermore's on the move here. 5 stolen bases on the year for the shortstop. First pitch to Pinkston outside. Ball and no strikes. Pinkston flew out to Zmarzlak out in left field to start off this ball game. Modest lead over at first base for Livermore. And a good-looking curveball from Nick Dean to make it 1-1. Pinkston was sitting fastball there, and he was fooled. Pinkston with as good of an eye as anybody in this Northwestern order. Had a streak of 5 straight games with a walk a little while ago as they check back on the runner at first, Livermore. Nick Dean wanting to make sure he doesn't get too far away. When opponents have tried to steal, Maryland's been awfully good at cutting them down. They're tied for the best stolen base allowed percentage in the Big Ten. At Pinkston did not go around. It's 2-1. 66.7%. Luke Schliger's caught one of every 3 runners trying to steal second base, as it has mostly been Schliger behind the plate. 2-1 offering, well up high and outside, 3 balls and a strike. And with the ever-dangerous Anthony Calarco on deck, Nick Dean will want to attack here against Pinkston. Jay Bashir's, Steven Rustich all hoping for a chance to hit here in the top half of the 3rd inning. Maryland looking to protect their 1-0 lead. 5-pitch walk to Pinkston, though, and there's 2 aboard here with 2 outs in the 3rd.
It's not a walk. You want to let up to Pinkston with 2 of the better batters, as you mentioned, heading up for Northwestern. First bit of trouble for Nick Dean this afternoon. We'll see how he handles it.
Here's Calarco, first team All-Big Ten a season ago. At .336 average in that all-conference only slate. No midweeks, of course, last year, still impacted by the pandemic. This year, looking a lot more like normal.
Dean's still looking.
Yeah, he's awfully concerned with Livermore over there at second base. Shaw in the area to keep him honest. Keister on the artificial outfield grass to the right side. A slight shift on for the lefty hitting Calarco. First offering. 1-0. 22-game on-base streak last year for Calarco to propel him to the first team honors. Slugged .621. He's someone with a lot of power. Maryland was able to take care of him in the series last year. He went just 1 for 9 against the Terps in 2021. Once again, Dean trying to keep Livermore honest over there at second. Andrew Pinkston over at first as Northwestern threatens for the first time here in the top half of the 3rd.
Outfield shifted all towards the right, even the infield. Not much doing on the left side of the ballpark.
It's a nice stop from Luke Schliger, sliding right to left. Keep the baseball in front of him, but 2-0 count, and you certainly don't want to load up the bases for Jay Bashirs, who hasn't had a weekend to remember, but has as much pop as anyone in this Northwestern 1 through 9.
Player would be force.
2-0 from Dean. Way out in front, it's 2-1.
Player would be force Calarco to ground into close to right field and get that out at first. All those players lined up in the infield on the right side.
Two-one from Dean. And now Calarco in a really good spot in the at-bat, 3-1. He can look for something middle in that he can open up the hips on and drive to right center field. Has to be one pitch, one spot at the moment for the Northwestern first baseman. And a big pitch here from Nick Dean to try to get out of this top half of the 3rd. 3-1 offering. Missed it outside, and the bases are full of Wildcats here in the 3rd. The innocuous enough hit from Livermore with 2 outs, followed up with back-to-back walks. And now the bases juiced for the 3-hole hitter, Jay Bashirs. Bashirs hitting .429 this season with the bases loaded. Had a situation with the bases full of Wildcats back in the 8th inning yesterday. You sacrifice fly. That's not in play here in the 3rd with the 2 outs.
Grounded out back in that 1st inning. Maryland would love for him to force himself into a similar play right now.
Starts off ahead in the count, 1-0. See there, grounded out into the double play right around the horn, 5-4-3 to end the 1st inning. Maryland just looking for one more out here in the 3rd. And the 1-0 offering from Nick Dean. In there, much needed strike for the Maryland righty. It's 1-1. And the issue for Dean over the past couple starts has been when he's getting into these situations, he hasn't been able to work his way out of them. As I mentioned, the extra base hits have been an issue. The most conceded on this Maryland pitching staff. No extra base hits yet for Northwestern. 1-1. 2-1. And nowhere to put Jay Bashirs.
Thought that last strike would help him with his confidence a little bit. That pitch was way outside.
Opponents hitting .259 against Nick Dean this season with runners on base. That speaks a little bit to the struggles he's had in getting out of innings. And the 2-1 offering here is lifted in the air into right field. Troy Schreffler is right on it. And Maryland is out of the inning. Northwestern threatens but leaves the bases loaded as Nick Dean escapes unscathed. We're on our way to the bottom half of the third inning. Still 1-0 Maryland on Big Ten Plus. Maryland, no runs on the one hit for Northwestern. The only offense for the Terps, a solo home run for Troy Schreffler. First pitch downstairs to Ian Petrutz. .333 average, that's 12 for 36 as he's starting to get more and more playing time in the DH role. And especially the lefty hitter against the righty throwing Grant Comstock.
It's been an impressive freshman for this Terrapins team. 12 hits, 7 RBIs. Had a home run back on April the 17th against Ohio State. Career high, 3 hits against Illinois on the 23rd. Starting to look comfortable in this Maryland lineup.
Coming into the month of April, it's now 1-2 to Petrutz. Really the only question for this Maryland 1 through 9 order was going to be that DH role. The position players just about fleshed out, but Ian Petrutz has certainly made his case to be the everyday DH, and especially valuable to have a lefty hitting DH against a conference that throws a lot of right-handed starters at you. Then when you get late into the innings and the bullpens, you can adjust from there. 1-2 is bounced to the right side as the shortstop Livermore cutting it off, throwing back across his body. Nice play from the Northwestern shortstop, and there's one gone. For the Maryland second baseman, you knew you were going to get the defense from him, but the offense has certainly been alive as well. That one's right to his counterpart, Herrera, and there's quickly 2 gone. And for a Maryland team that came into this ball game second in the Big Ten in on-base percentage at over .400 as a team. That's been Comstock's MO. Mentioned the season high in strikeouts, just 5. He's got 1 punch out the first time through the order. That was to Bobby's Marslak to end the second. But getting the weak contact, he's gotten a couple of pop outs in foul territory, a couple of ground outs here in the third. And really just the one mistake to Troy Schreffler, and he made him pay for it. 0-1 to Schliger. Ball and a strike. Schliger started off Maryland's offensive day with a flyout to center field. Certainly has plenty of power himself with the 8 home runs. And the wind blowing out to left field, that'll help the baseball move a little bit further along. 2-1 here from Comstock. Fairly efficient. This will be pitch number 40 for him as he looks to get out of the third inning. Mentioned hasn't gone too deep into ball games, just the 5 innings. And in case you're just joining us, talked about in the open, he hasn't thrown more than 82 pitches so far this season as a Wildcat. 2-1 downstairs, 3 balls and a strike. But if he continues on at this pace, he's looking at perhaps 6 innings of work. And after Northwestern's had to dip into the bullpen a handful of times over the first 2 games, a longer outing for Comstock would be much appreciated. 3-1 to Schliger. Spoiled foul and the count's full. Despite the huge numbers put up by Maryland offensively on Friday night, only 3 pitchers necessary for the Wildcats. Josh Sharm had a really nice outing out of the bullpen just to eat up some innings and keep the rest of the bullpen alive. He ended up going 4 1/3. He conceded the 4 earned runs. As the 3-2 is hit down the left field line, going to be another long run for B1G into foul territory, and that time he's not able to make the play. 2 each from Kobe Moe and Mike Doherty, who got the win and save respectively. So Northwestern, despite the tumultuous past couple of days, have a lot of the bullpen available as Schliger gets into this one in right field, but it's right at Jay Bashirs. And another 1-2-3 inning worked by Grant Comstock. He's got it going on through 3 innings, but Maryland with the only run of the ball game, moving right along into the 4th on Big Ten Plus. But a flyout from Jay Bashirs to right field ended the threat. So Steven Rustich will start things off against Nick Dean into his 4th inning of work. And the first pitch to the Northwestern DH is downstairs. Through 3 innings for Nick Dean, 58 pitches. He's conceded the 1 hit, 3 walks. He's struck out 2, but has kept Northwestern off the board. 2-0 now to Rustich.
You know, you get the sense something is just going to start to open up eventually. We saw Nick Dean face his first real test of the afternoon with the bases loaded, able to get out of it. But the pitching's been good, only 1 hit per side so far. But each team has had a little bit of a promising start on offense, but nothing really materializing, so we'll see what happens.
Rustich evens up the count 2-2 as he fouls that one off of Schliger's mask. Back to the wood bat as well. The 2-2 below the knees, and it's 3-2. Had 4 home runs in his last 7 games coming into this weekend, though, and went 0 for 4 yesterday, 0 for 3 the day before. 3 to him here is outside a little bit, and a leadoff walk for Northwestern. It's the first time today they've put the leadoff runner on.
Third walk in 4 at-bats for Nick Dean. That fly out coming in between, that was the one that ended the inning last time. So, again, Nick Dean facing some adversity early in the 4th.
He has struggled with the free pass a little bit this season. 3 walks in the last ball game he pitched in against Illinois, but it was the hits that really did him in. The 7 hits that the Fighting Illini parlayed into 6 runs, 5 of them earned. Misses downstairs to Bianchina, and it's 1-0. Bianchina struck out back in the 2nd inning. Only swinging strikeout that Dean's got so far today. Also got Herrera looking to start 3rd. Multiple walks conceded in now each of the last 4 and 5 of the last 6 outings for Nick Dean. That's a better spot for the Maryland righty, and it's 1-1.
Good framing from Luke Schliger, too.
Bennett Markinson on deck. Northwestern looks to equalize or take the lead here in the top half of the 4th inning. Maryland back looking for their 2nd double play of the ball game. Got 5-4-3 to end the 1st. 1-1. Didn't look like that was the pitch that Bianchina was expecting, so he held up. Another nice spot from Nick Dean to make it 1-2. Bianchina's had one of the better weekends offensively for Northwestern this weekend. It's in 9 of his last 10 games as well. Looking to make it 10 of 11 as he bounces this one back to Dean. Throws to second base for one off balance. Over to first base. Long stretch from Costas, and it pulled him off the bag. Nick Dean, ultra aggressive, going to get the lead runner, and he could score at a 1-6 fielder's choice.
It was the right play from Nick Dean, but they almost got Costas. A little more flexibility would have done it for Maxwell Costas at first base, but just not enough. Here we're going to see it again on the replay. That was chopped right to Nick Dean, and the throw in time, but a little bit to Maxwell Costas' left.
So the runner, Bianchina, replaces Rustich, and the first pitch to Markinson, Schliger's able to keep in front of him. No error on the play. You can't assume the double play, but Bianchina replacing Rustich over there at first base, which Northwestern won't complain about too much. Bianchina with solid speed, 4 stolen bases on the year. And a nice heads-up play from Nick Dean to recognize he had a play to get the lead runner. Check back on Bianchina, back in with plenty of time. Not the best of throws from Shaw, he will tell you. Shaw, ever the perfectionist. Throw that pulled Costas a little bit off back to the left. A little bit high as well, and Costas was just unable to put his foot back on the base. Bianchina running well down the first base line.
I want to assume Costas would want to have that one back also. Kind of wishes he could be a little more flexible, but not really something you could just pull out of your back pocket.
Squaring to bunt, dropping it down to the third base side. Good looking bunt. Only play is going to be at first base. And this time Costas is able to keep his foot on the bag. And there's 2 away. Markinson, the catcher, ain't able to lay one down. as Bianchina advances to second.
A little bit scary again for Costas. His foot did get off the bag. You saw the umpire pointing at that bag emphatically. He's like, yep, he still got it. So, big out for Costas.
Runner in scoring position, though, and 2 away for Patrick Herrera, who struck out looking to start off the 3rd inning, as Dean looks to escape more trouble here in the 4th. First offering from Dean is taken just below the knees. Schliger held at that extra beat, hoping for a call from the home plate umpire Ron Whiting, calling balls and strikes today. Didn't get it. Ethan O'Donnell awaiting on deck. Dangerous hitter for the Wildcats if the inning should continue. Herrera hitting .375 this year with runners in scoring position. Way out in front of a breaking ball that time, though, 1-1. Hitting .438 as a whole this season with a runner on base. Herrera's really been able to produce in the bottom half of the order when the table has been set for him. And he's got Bianchina out at second, who runs well. He'll be going on contact with the 2 away. 1-1 offering. Another nice stop from Schliger. Kept the baseball right in front of him. And the Maryland catcher's been a brick wall so far today. That really allows Dean to use the bottom part of the zone, even below the zone, trying to get guys to chase and still having full confidence that Schliger's going to keep it in front of him, keep the runners right where they are.
Right, you're talking about Schliger also now. With Bianchina on second base, you see Kevin Keister a little bit far back. Bianchina trying to steal on that last play. Got a little bit caught between second and third. See what he does here.
In the foreground, healthy lead, and he's taking big secondary leads as well, ready to go on a base hit to the outfield. 2-1 offering here. And that twisted Herrera around. It's 2-2.
Bianchina trying to steal once again. Hoping for something to come a little bit outside.
So we'll see what Dean offers up here. Herrera's struggled with the off-speed so far this at-bat. We'll see if Dean's able to get him off balance once more, or if Herrera's able to respond. Just a quick peek back at second base for Dean to keep Bianchina half honest. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the top half of the 4th. Base hit for Northwestern would tie the ball game. And once again, Dean wants a moment to reset. Pitch count into the 70s now for Nick Dean, trying to get through this 4th inning unscathed. Two-two offering to Herrera. Fouled away, will do it all over again. Good battle here between Herrera and Dean as the second baseman's able to stay alive.
Important battle at that with 2 outs on for Nick Dean. An out here would really give him some confidence.
Skyline High School in Mesa, Arizona. Coming to Chicagoland, trying to make something happen for the Wildcats here in the 4th. Another 2-2, lifted in the air, shallow right field, long run for Keister and Schreffler. And it is Keister, the second baseman, who is able to make the play. Once again, Northwestern strands a runner in scoring position. We're through 3.5 here in College Park. 1-0 Terps on Big Ten Plus. Top half of the Big Ten standings.
Feels like a chess match this afternoon. It's just waiting for who's going to blink first.
First pitch to Aline downstairs. It's 1-0. Northwestern's had the more traffic on the base paths, had the bases full with 2 outs in the 3rd inning, had the runner on scoring position at second base with 2 outs in the 4th. Didn't bring him home either time, though, for Maryland's just the 1 long ball. And now Aline cranks this one in the air down the right field line, all the way back to the track, and it's caught by Bashirs leaning up against the wall.
That ball was straight. No arc on that one. That was pure power from Bubba.
And now that one to Aline, just barely missing. LaRusso hammers one down the third base side. That's foul. It's 0-1. Been under a lot of the baseballs so far today. Of the 10 outs so far recorded by Maryland through 3 1/3, 7 flyouts or pop-outs, 2 strikeouts, or 2 groundouts rather, 1 strikeout. As it's 1-1 now. And Maryland just unable to keep the ball on the ground or on the line. And so far, Comstock's game plan has, for the most part, gone according to plan. As I mentioned, really just the 1 mistake to Troy Schreffler. That's the difference so far here in the bottom half of the 4th. 1-1 to LaRusso. It's 2-1. And after we talked in the opening stages of this ball game about how much run support Grant Comstock has gotten, 25 runs in 7 games, including twice with 10 or more runs his offense has been able to put up in games he's appeared in. The bats have fallen silent on the other half of the inning. 2-1 to LaRusso, and he's way ahead in the count now, 3-1.
Wildcats also leaving a lot of runners on base when they get the chance to go on offense, so that's not going to help their pitcher either.
Already 4 runners left on base in the ballgame, all of them in the last 2 innings for the Wildcats, and 3 of them in scoring position. 3-1 to LaRusso. Hit in the air down the right field line. Bashir's moving over, and he is going to leap, and he makes the catch. Oh, right up against the screen. Jay Bashir is navigating that corner out there in right field and makes a wonderful catch to retire LaRusso for the second out of the 4. Really nice right field all weekend long. First pitch here to Shaw, runs low and outside. So a couple of eventful plays here in the bottom half of the 4th inning out in right field. One that sent Bashir's all the way back to the wall off the bat of Aline, and then the next one to LaRusso, navigating the screen out there, and it's 2-0. It's awfully difficult, especially for visiting outfielders who don't really know the ballpark as well as the Maryland right fielder Troy Schreffler. The wall out there in foul territory kind of winds with the road, with the screen up to try to protect cars best it can. As Shaw's ahead in the count now, 3-0. And so it's awfully difficult to kind of get a handle on it. You're a visiting right fielder who doesn't have the amount of experience that Troy Schreffler does out in right, playing just about every game for Maryland out there in right field. But game 3 now for Bashir. He's gotten a little more time under his belt out there in right. He's gotten the sense of it a little bit better. He was able to make a nice play. 3-0 to Shaw, taking all the way. It's on the outside corner, 3-1. Maxwell Costas on deck if the inning should continue for Maryland here in the bottom half of the 4th inning. Still just the 1 hit, still just the 1 base runner for the Terps. 3-1. Way out in front. Shaw with eyes bigger than his stomach there, and it's 3-2. And Comstock 1 pitch away from another 1-2-3 inning. It would be his 3rd in 4 frames. Payoff pitch to Matt Shaw. Laced in the air to right field. Another play for Bashir's to be made. This one will be a little bit more routine. And Grant Comstock is through 4 innings with just the 1 run allowed. All 3 fly balls to right field in the 4th inning. Send us to the 5th. It's 1-0 Terps on Big Ten Plus. Nick Dean on the hill for his 5th inning of work. Pitch number 77 is roped foul over towards the Northwestern bullpen. And it's 0-1.
A lot of sporting events to choose from yesterday, also with the spring football game happening just next door at the football stadium.
It was warm, it was sunny yesterday. It was a great day for a ball game, and over 2,500 coming out and watching this Maryland team that's gotten a lot of buzz on campus this spring. It's now 1-1 to Ethan O'Donnell. But the team continuing to play as well as they have been so far this year. They have the ranked number next to them, of course, towards the top of the Big Ten. And the Maryland fan base has responded accordingly. It's 2-1 now to the Northwestern center fielder O'Donnell, who popped out to Matt Shaw back in the 3rd inning. And he lifts this one in the air to right field. Troy Schreffler moving a couple of steps over towards the gap. And there's 1 away. For Nick Dean so far, he's got the job done. No runs yet conceded. He has only allowed the 1 hit, but the 4 walks a point of concern for the Maryland righty. Of course, in case you're just joining us, Nick Dean, usually the Friday night starter for Maryland. He got moved to Sunday this week. Ryan Ramsey up to Friday night, ended up throwing the perfect game. Jason Savakul up to Saturday through 7 scoreless with just the 1 hit and 9 strikeouts. And Nick Dean with a bit of a different look here on Sunday to try to break out of a bit of a funk.
And you mentioned besides those walks, he's been pretty impressive. Obviously, 4 scoreless innings is nothing to scoff at.
One's popped up foul back behind Luke Schliger. He's locating it. He's going to locate it, go out of play. And thankfully, everyone okay back behind home plate. Yeah, never as easy as it looks to catch one of those, especially with all the spin on it.
And you mentioned before with these clouds, doesn't make anything easier. And the net and just those seats being so close to the net. So Schliger's just got to be a little more aware.
The 1-1 offering here to Livermore, who got the 3rd inning started with a single, a 2-out single, to try to gained a Northwestern rally. 3 straight reached on the single, then 2 walks, but Jay Bashirs flew out to right field, and that was it for Wildcats in the third. 2-1 offering to Livermore here, bounce to the right side. Keister to his left, 2 away.
Costas probably thankful he doesn't have to be too flexible on that one. That was a great play from Kevin Keister, making the easy throw to Maxwell Costas. And
Maryland's first baseman's had plenty to do so far today. The center of a bit of controversy back in the 4th inning. Whether or not he pulled his foot off the base, it certainly looked at our replay like it was a good call from the first base umpire. That's Joe Cruz over there at first today. And 1-0 offering coming up to Pinkston as Northwestern flips the lineup card around, 3rd time through the order now. And it's 1-1 to the Wildcats left fielder, 0 for 1 today with a walk.
It's a big at-bat for Nick Dean. 2 outs here.
Opportunity for a 1-2-3 inning, his first one since the 2nd if he can do it. And he lost the handle on a curveball there. It's 2-1. Next up for Northwestern, after they're done today, they head back home. Tuesday game against UIC. That one's fouled away. It's 2-2. Local rival in the Chicago area. Then they are home for 3 more against Ohio State, who's struggled mightily this season after having pretty high expectations. Buckeyes just 3-12 in conference play, well below 500 overall. So big opportunity for Northwestern next weekend as well, as this one's fouled back and remains 2-2. But if they can take 2 of 3 on the road against Maryland this year, the only ranked team in the Big Ten, and certainly one of the better clubs in the conference, that would give the Wildcats and Josh Reynolds a whole host of confidence heading into the home stretch in the month of May. 2-2 missed low and outside, and the count's full. After the Wildcats started off the season on a 5-game losing streak, getting a 4-game sweep against UAB and then dropping 1 to Santa Clara, they've really turned it around. 3-2 is in there, called 3rd strike, and the 3rd punch-out of the day for Nick Dean. Halfway home in this ball game, and Maryland still up 1-0. You're watching Big Ten Plus. Northwestern, number 5 ranked right-handed pitcher in the state of Indiana, coming out of high school, Valparaiso, Indiana native. And he will face 5, 6, 7 in the Maryland order, starting off with Maxwell Costas. First pitch to Costas. Did he go around? Indeed he did. It's 0-1. And when you look at the rest of the perfect game rankings coming out of high school for Comstock, and the 4 right-handed pitchers taken ahead of him, those 4 committed to Indiana, Purdue, Cincinnati, and Ball State, all pretty solid baseball programs. So a talent-rich area in Indiana, at least for pitchers, over the past season. 1-1 now to Costas as that one dipped below the knees. Costas 0 for 1 today with a pop-out. The flyouts have been the story of this ball game so far for Grant Comstock. 9 of the 12 outs have been in the air. 1-1 here, runs upstairs, 2 balls and a strike.
Important at bat here for Maxwell Costas, one of the home run leaders on this team, as we've mentioned. Maryland could really use those bats to start getting hot at this point of the game.
2 ground outs, still just the 1 strikeout at the hands of Bobby Zmarzlak. That one's in there, and count evens up at 2 apiece. Nice spot there from Comstock at the knees on the outside corner. We'll see what Costas gets here on a 2-2 offering. Costas has been dynamite when he's been leading off innings, hitting .460 when he's the first batter of a frame. Faces a full count now here on a nice take to make it 3-2. Troy Schreffler, Bobby Zmarzlak also due up here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Grant Comstock with his pitch count now into the 60s, continuing to work here. It's the 1-0 deficit. Payoff pitch to Costas, popped up in the air again to the right side. This time it's Calarco locating the baseball and making the catch, and there's one gone. That has now went deep over the batter's eye in center field. See what he can replicate here in his 2nd at-bat of the ball game. First offering to the Maryland right fielder is taken outside, 1-0. The 7th long ball of the year for Schreffler. He's got 37 now make it 38 RBIs on the season when you factor in the home run today. And it is all the offense so far that Maryland's been able to muster. 1-0 to him here is downstairs, 2 balls and no strikes, and Comstock once again falling in danger of falling behind Maryland hitters. He's been able to adjust well when he has so far. The home run for Schreffler was on an 0-1 count, but certainly not a good habit for Comstock to get into, falling behind this potent Maryland offense. This one's popped foul up and out of play, 2 balls and a strike. Mention how good this Maryland offense has been in terms of getting on base this season, second in the conference with an on-base percentage of .408. 79 now make it 80 home runs on the season as a team to lead the Big Ten. They have been held in check for the most part by the freshman Grant Comstock, the Sunday starter for Northwestern. 2-1 is fouled away again, up and over the backstop. And it's 2-2 as freshman's been able to get back in the count.
It's a big inning for Comstock also. If the Maryland bats start heating up, then top of the order is coming up soon.
Looking for his fourth 1-2-3 inning in 5 frames. 2-2 offering to Schreffler. Hit into the left center field gap. That'll get down for a base hit. It'll roll towards the wall. It's cut off by O'Donnell before it gets there. Schreffler still on his way to second base. He's going to get there with a head-first dive. Oops. Thinking 2 out of the box and paying off. Here's Marszlak with the shift on. 3 infielders to the left side of the infield. First pitch comes into Marszlak. Nice stop from Markinson. That player you see in the foreground for Northwestern, number 7 to the left side of the infield, that's Herrera, the second baseman. As the Wildcats playing Marszlak to pull. A lot of room on the right side with only Calarco patrolling the right side of the infield, the Wildcats' first baseman. 1-0 offering to Marszlak. Check swing to the right side. It's going to get down for a base hit. Schreffler on his horse rounding third. He's going to score without a throw. An RBI single for Bobby Marszlak makes it 2-0 right against the shift. To the right side with 3 infielders on the left side of the infield. Scored Troy Schreffler to make it 2-0 Terps. First pitch to Ian Petrutz is rocked in the air to right field. Moving over is Bashirs, and he'll have room 2 steps in front of the track. Staying alive. Grant Comstock goes 4 1/3 innings, 3 hits, no walk, 1 strikeout. He is responsible for the runner at first, Marszlak. That was in there on the outside corner to Keister, 0-1. And what was a tough luck RBI single from Comstock's perspective. Got some weak contact on his Marszlak check swing, but just to the other side of the shift and able to easily score Schreffler, who runs well. 0-1 to Keister. Upstairs. Ball and a strike. Saucer a season ago in his 7 appearances out of the pen through 8 innings, 5.62 ERA and a fairly small sample size. 5 innings back in that truncated 2020 season. The 1-1 to Keister way out in front, and it's 1-2. Saucer had him totally fooled there. And he's ahead in the count on Maryland's number 8.
Big reach from Keister there. Well, it looked like a good curveball from Jack Saucer.
Saucer 1 pitch away from getting out of this 5th inning without any more damage done. And stranding the runner at first base. It's Marszlak. Maryland hasn't stranded a runner all day. They haven't had too many base runners. As the 1-2 swung on and missed, and that is all for Maryland in the 5th. But an RBI single for Bobby Marszlak, following up a 1-out double for Troy Schreffler, gives the Terps a little bit of insurance. It's 2-0 Maryland after 5 on Big Ten Plus. And in that 18-10 win, 2 outings ago though for Robinson, as the first pitch to Anthony Calarco makes it 1-0. 1 2/3 innings at Illinois, gave up 5 earned runs on 4 hits. And struck out 2, but conceded 3 doubles. So we'll see how Robinson's able to work through this Northwestern order as the 1-0 on the outside corner to the lefty makes it 1-1. 1 in the 2nd and 1 in the 5th for Maryland. Troy Schreffler solo home run, and then Marszlak drove in Troy Schreffler with a single against the shift to make it 2-0. 1-1 from Robinson. Hit off of his fist into shallow left center field. Long run for Aline. Full extension, not going to get there. Going to be a single for Calarco as Marszalek was backing up Aline. And a good start for the Wildcats here in the 6th.
Right fielder,
Good ball placement on that one. Just down inside the center field area. Aline just a little bit off on that one, trying to dive for it. It was about a couple inches off. It looked a lot closer than it seemed. Aline was very close to making that catch.
So an opportunity with a runner on and nobody out for the 3-hole hitter Bashirs. And the first offering to the Floridian is upstairs. 1-0 to the sophomore two-way man from Naples. Went to community school in Naples, ranked the 230th overall prospect in a state of Florida that produces quite a bit of talent just about every year at the high school level of baseball. Takes the 1-0 at the knees, and it's even up at 1-1. Went 1 for 7 in all of last season against Maryland. Gets first look at the Terps this weekend. 0 for 2 today. Pops this one up in the air to right field. Schreffler moving in a couple of steps. He's got it, and it's the first out of the 6th.
Designated hitter Steven Rustich.
I'll send Rustich to the plate next. 0 for 1 today with a walk is the Northwestern DH. Junior from Lilburn, Georgia. Pop out back in the 2nd inning, walked and then was replaced by the man on deck, B1G, on a fielder's choice. Northwestern looking to get on the board here on this Sunday afternoon. First pitch breaking ball sailed upstairs on Robinson. Nobody up and throwing right now to replace Robinson in the bullpen down the left field line. This will be the grad student 6th inning unless things really get out of control. The 1-0 to Rustich. Downstairs, 2 balls and no strikes.
Talking about Robinson and backing him up. His entrance means the end of the day for Nick Dean, who's pitched 5 scoreless innings. It was a really good day from Dean, especially in the end. You saw Luke Schliger giving Dean a tap on the back at the end of that last inning.
Much improved outing for Dean as it's now 3-0 from Robinson. 5 scoreless innings for the Maryland righty. A little bit of trouble with the control, 4 walks, but just the 1 hit conceded. Struck out 3 in a much-needed scoreless outing for Nick Dean. His first scoreless outing since his 2nd start of the year against Campbell on the road. He went 7 innings that time, 5 this time, but leaves in line for the win as well. 3-0 catches enough of the zone to make it 3-1. Maryland infield back looking for a ground ball. They've already turned 1 double play today, almost had the 2nd back in the 4th inning, but Costas' foot had to slide off the bag for him to be able to corral it. And the 3-1 to Rustich. Instead a little bit inside. Once again, Schliger held it that extra beat. But a walk here with 1 away puts 2 on and 1 out for B1G, who has been trouble this weekend for the Terps.
Only 1 out for Nick Robinson so far in this inning. You mentioned B1G has been a little bit of a pain for Maryland so far. Big out coming up.
B1G, the sophomore from Lafayette, California, out of De La Salle High School, of the famed football win streak in the early 2000s. First pitch in and out of Schliger's glove. It's still in there for a strike. As 0-1. Sometimes you see catchers lose the benefit of the doubt when they're unable to catch it cleanly, but that one firmly in the zone, and Robinson ahead right now of B1G. Robinson hasn't had too much struggle with command so far this season. It's just his 5th walk in 17 innings now. But it's one in which Northwestern has a chance to parlay into a run or more. Robinson will just try to keep Calarco honest over at 2nd base. He's the lead runner after the single to lead off the 6th inning. Rustich followed it up with the walk. And now it's B1G, an opportunity here to make something happen. There was 3 RBI day yesterday. The 0-1. Right back to the screen, 0-2. This is a good spot here for Robinson to be in. And attack the bottom part of the zone if he chooses, looking for that ground ball, as there's a little bit more movement and stretching in the Maryland pen. Wildcats bullpen on the other side is dormant. 0-2. Bounced foul towards the Northwestern dugout, heads up on the first base side. And we'll do it all over again. Looked like it hit the top of the railing, so everyone all right, thankfully. That's now both dugouts that have been put on watch at some point in this game. There was the one over toward the third base side that Drew Grace had to duck out of the way of.
That's been connecting all day, just not necessarily where the ball's not landing where they should be.
A lot of weak contact on both sides of the inning. Another 0-2. Ran inside, hit him right on the forearm. And the bases are loaded here in the 6th inning and only 1 out.
Bianchina not happy with that one, immediately grabbing his elbow. You see him just trying to shake that one off.
Trainer going to go out and have a word. Obviously no intent in that situation with
Catcher
Robinson
Bennett Markinson.
trying to get a pitch on the inside corner. A couple of runners on and 1 away, and doesn't feel any better for Bianchina, to be sure. And thankfully it looks like he's going to stay in the ball game. And one more look from the trainer right on that right forearm.
Just as he was coming in to swing at that one, his elbow got a bit low where the pitch was and got him in a bad spot. You know, right like in that elbow area, you feel that one for a little bit. That pitch did have a lot of heat on it.
Thankfully, he is able to stay in the ball game. Appears to be fine as the trainer is satisfied with what he's seen. And here's Markinson. Fielder's choice on a bunt back in the 4th inning. Ground out back in the 2nd inning. Bases full of Wildcats here in the 6th. And the first offering to the Northwestern catcher makes it 0-1. Hitting 200 this year with the bases loaded, Markinson is. Baker's dozen RBIs on the campaign, including 1 yesterday. And the go-ahead run on here in the 6th inning with 1 away. 0-1 offering from Robinson. Check swing to the right side. Keister moves to his left. Only play is going to be at first base. It's made as Northwestern is able to get one back. RBI ground out for Bennett Markinson. Cuts the deficit in half. It's 2-1.
A little bit of a half bunt, half swing there. Just put in the perfect spot to get the sacrifice out, but an important run here for Northwestern, cutting the deficit 2-1.
I'll send Calarco home. Rustich on his way to 3rd. Bianchina moves up to 2nd, and 2 more in scoring position here for Patrick Herrera. 0 for 2 today. Good looking first pitch out of the hand of Nick Robinson to make it 0-1.
Northwestern probably doesn't want another batter up there right now other than Herrera. He has their best batting average on the season. Definitely dangerous.
Sitting at 348 when you factor in the 0 for 2 day. Wildcats have left 4 runners on so far this afternoon. 0-1 runs inside. It's 1-1. Of those 4, 3 have been in scoring position. They've got 2 more in scoring position here. Rustich at 3rd. Bianchina, who runs well, the trail runner at 2nd. 1-1 offering. It's able to hold up very nicely that time, Herrera. It's 2-1. First base is open, but with Ethan O'Donnell on deck, who's been the leadoff hitter the past couple games for the Wildcats and can swing a good bat with a batting average just under 300. You don't want to load the bases back up for him if you're Maryland. 2-1 to Herrera. Upstairs and inside, it's 3-1. And now a righty is starting to get loose in the Maryland pen. Looks like it might be Nigel Belgrave. Can't say with all that much certainty from here, but regardless, Maryland pen starting to work with a bit more urgency in case things slip further away from Robinson. Good hitters count here for Herrera. Faces the 3-1, crank to the left side. LaRusso knocks it down with a nice sliding stop. Throw across the diamond is in time. Web gem for Nick LaRusso to preserve the Maryland lead, and Robinson is out of the 6th. On our way to the bottom of the 6th inning as the Wildcats strand 2 more in scoring position, despite Herrera squaring it up. Good ball game on Big Ten Plus. About what it was like to watch Ryan Ramsey do what has not been done all that much in college baseball as Luke Schliger gets into this one over towards left field. It's going to go off of the wall. On his way to second base with a leadoff double is Luke Schliger. First hit of the day for the Maryland leadoff catcher. Made it 2-0 in the bottom of the 5th inning. Wildcats responded with one of their own in the top half of the 6th. Both teams into their bullpen. And the first offering from Jack Saucer to Bubba Alline runs outside. It's 1-0. Nick LaRusso on deck after a tremendous play defensively at the hot corner to preserve the Terps' lead.
Robinson
3 to the right side of the infield for the Wildcats.
Robinson had trouble getting things done with the bases loaded, had to give up 1 run.
Alline turns around on this baseball, but it's always hooking foul. It's going to get out of play down the right field line, 1-1. It would be fairly surprised given the work rate of the Maryland bullpen right now if Robinson were to come back out for the 7th. But job done enough to keep the Maryland lead intact for the righty in relief of Nick Dean.
Maryland looking to avoid deja vu of yesterday when the bullpen imploded on itself. So Maryland hoping to find their bats here in the bottom of the 6th to give themselves a little run support in case things need to get a little bit dicey for the Maryland bullpen.
Chatted about it in the open, but in case you're just tuning in recently, that was a Jason Savacool start yesterday. 7 scoreless innings with 9 strikeouts and only 1 hit allowed. That one runs outside, and it is 2-0. So you look at the 3 starters this weekend for Maryland. Obviously the 9 perfect, no runs, no hits for Ryan Ramsey on Friday night. Then yesterday, 7 scoreless and just 1 hit for Jason Savacool. Today, 5 scoreless, just 1 hit for Nick Dean. The 2-1 to Alline is skied in the air. It's higher than it is deep to right field. Bashirs is there. He makes the catch. Schliger's tagging on his way to third base. The throw's going to be cut off, and good base running for Luke Schliger. And nice situational hitting as well for Alline to move the runner 90 feet with less than 2 outs. The middle of the infield still back, so anything on the ground past the pitcher in the middle of the infield will be enough for LaRusso to drive in Schliger.
First time Maryland's been in that position so far today.
First pitch misses a little bit. It's 1-0. Matt Shaw awaiting on deck. He's 0 for 2 today with a pair of flyouts. LaRusso with a pop out in the infield in the first inning. Flew out to right field back in the 4th on that ball that Bashirs went up against the screen in foul territory for. 1-0 offering to him here. Fouled off the end of his bat to the first base side, up and over the screen. It's 1-1. Schliger runs really well over there at third base. 11 swiped bags on the season. And you could argue probably the fastest catcher in the Big Ten, one of the faster catchers in the Mid-Atlantic region.
Saw LaRusso trying to get under that one bit. Maybe not necessarily necessary in this position.
1-1 offering. Missed it low and outside. Corner of the infields are in, and the first baseman, Calarco, giving up a lot of room down that first base side. You can see in the background of that last shot, Calarco playing well off of the line. Was daring LaRusso to push it the other way down that first base line. 2-1 offering is hit in the air well to center field. O'Donnell back to the track. He looks up, he makes the catch on the warning track, but that's going to be enough to score Luke Schliger easily. Job done for Nick LaRusso. Another RBI to make it 3-1. Puts a charge into one, just missed it. But plenty deep to score Schliger without even close to a play as the first pitch to Shaw runs upstairs. It's 1-0. It's now 3 consecutive games for LaRusso with an RBI. He's got 5 in his last 3 contests. And despite not having a hit today to keep the 4-game hit streak alive. Very productive at-bat here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. 1-0 inside to Shaw. It's 2-0. It's a little bit more of what Maryland's been wanting to do offensively. The home runs, obviously really nice. Maryland leads the conference with 80 of them. But to be able to push across another run with the manufacturing of it, well, Rob Vaughn will want to see that's a little bit more sustainable than the home run as well. It's now 2-1 to Shaw. Obviously, you love the home runs. They can come in bunches for Maryland, Ben, but being able to get those runs that way for Maryland, a little bit more sustainable, a little bit more reliable.
Right, and maybe you'd just like to see a little more of Maryland finding those hits inside the field and not forcing them on sac flies.
2-1 runs downstairs and outside. It's 3 balls and a strike. The LaRusso's had an eventful and a very productive 6th inning on both sides of the frame. The nice play to end the top half of the 6th inning defensively, and then pushes across the run with a sac fly in the bottom half of the frame. Shaw looking for a pitch he can drive here. 3-1 offering from Saucer. Missed it low and outside, and a 5-pitch walk to Shaw will keep the 6th going. And a couple of those coming a couple of months ago, back in the month of February. Started off only 2/3 of an inning, giving up 4 earned runs in his opening outing of the season against UAB. As the 0-1 is bounced foul behind Costas, 0-2. Followed that up with giving up 3 earned runs in 2 innings of work against Santa Clara on the 27th of February. But since then, he's only had 1 outing where he's given up more than 1 run. That was 4 runs conceded against Indiana back on the 2nd of April against a good Hoosiers ball club. Smith has really grown into the season. 0-2 to Costas, bounce foul to the third base side. As we were saying before we went to break because of the pitching change, big opportunity here for both of these teams, but especially Maryland towards the top half of the Big Ten standings, because conference leading Rutgers is trailing 8-3 right now to Ohio State. Terps 2.5 back of the Scarlet Knights, and if both of those scores were to hold, Maryland would gain a game on Rutgers before their weekend series between the two next weekend in Piscataway. 0-2 offering, runners on the move, misses outside, throw goes down to second base. It is in time, and Shaw is cut down at second. Nice throw from Markinson back behind the plate, and the 6th inning is over. Maryland, though, gets one back on the sacrifice fly from Nick LaRusso. They lead at 3-1 as we head to the 7th on Big Ten Plus, making his 10th appearance of the campaign. Starts off with Ethan O'Donnell, righty versus lefty, and the first pitch runs inside to O'Donnell, 0-1. Last outing for Belgrave was a really good one. Picked up his 2nd save in a Maryland jersey for a scoreless inning at Illinois, and struck out 1 to pick up a 7-4 win. On runs outside, 2 balls and no strikes. That was last Saturday night, and what ended up being a double-header, as the Sunday game against the Illini for the Terps was pushed to Saturday, as Sunday had some pretty terrible weather in the Champaign area. The 2-0 to the hard-throwing Belgrave to O'Donnell, misses outside. And the Northwestern center fielder, rather, is ahead in the count 3-0. O'Donnell 0 for 2 with a pair of pop-outs, 1 to the shortstop, 1 to the right fielder. Taking all the way on 3-0, and it's 3 balls and a strike. So Robinson's day is done with just the 1 inning thrown. Did concede the 1 run, but Maryland got it right back in the bottom half of the inning. And the 3-1 offering from Belgrave is hit shallow into left field, but it's going to drop in front of Bobby Zmarzlak. And a leadoff base runner for Northwestern, 2nd consecutive inning and 3rd time in 4 they've been able to do that.
Shortstop, Tony Livermore.
I'll send Tony Livermore to the plate, representing the tying run as we head into the late stages of this ball game. Northwestern running out of real estate with which to work, but certainly with plenty of potency to make a comeback, as Terps learned yesterday. 1 for 2 so far today. Livermore got the first hit of the day for the Wildcats. Came back in the 3rd inning. Started a 2-out rally for the Wildcats when they loaded up the bases. Couldn't bring anyone home, though. First pitch to the lefty hitter is in there at the knees, 0-1. Livermore, a sophomore from Chicago. Pretty quick trip up to Evanston on the L train. Father Brian played football at the University of Illinois, so an athletic family in that state. And he twists himself around to make it 0-2. Spent the 2021 summer in the state of Illinois. in Normal with the Corn Belters in the Prospect League. 28 games with them, had a really solid summer, hit .326, and he's parlayed that into a good sophomore season with the Wildcats. 0-2 offering from Belgrave. Check this swing, it's on the outside corner anyway. 3-pitch strikeout for Belgrave to get the first down to the 7th.
It's a big out for Belgrave here. Top of the 7th now with the top of the order coming back on. Only one runner on base, so good situation for Belgrave to be in.
Northwestern still trying to hold on, trying to get some more offense going. As the lineup card will flip around, and here's Andrew Pinkston. First pitch is in there, nothing, and one couldn't quite tell who that was staring down the barrel of our camera down the first base side, but the Wildcats still with plenty of personality over in that dugout, and even if they can only take the 1 of 3 against Maryland, it was certainly a good win yesterday for the Wildcats to boost their season, get back to 500 in conference play, at least momentarily, as the 0-1 runs downstairs, a ball and a strike.
Been a fun weekend of baseball here at the Bob.
Been plenty to talk about between yesterday's dramatic comeback win for the Wildcats and then Ryan Ramsey's perfect game Friday night. First one in 63 years, only the second one overall for the Maryland baseball program. They check back on O'Donnell at first, back in with plenty of time.
Keeping our finger crossed the weather doesn't ruin this one. It's getting a little bit darker outside. Clouds starting to move in.
Yeah, now is about the time when it looked like the radar could make things a little bit worse as they check back again on O'Donnell. He's back in safely. This was originally supposed to be a 1 o'clock start. So if you're just now tuning in expecting this game to be in the 3rd or 4th, we're already into the 7th because it was moved up from 1 p.m. to noon Eastern time. Try to get ahead of some of the weather, and now the weather's starting to catch up. 1-1 runs inside, gets behind Schliger. On his way to second base is O'Donnell. And the Wildcats have another runner in scoring position with less than 2 outs. 2-1 offering coming up from redshirt freshman pitcher through true freshman hitter. With the ever-dangerous Anthony Calarco looming in the wings on deck. It's sliced out towards left field. Marszlak got a late break to it. He slides. He's not going to get to it, and it gets past him. On his way home is O'Donnell. He's going to score. On his way to second base is Pinkston with an RBI double. It's back to a 1-run ball game here at Bob Turtle Smith Stadium.
Talk about deja vu. It was O'Donnell scoring yesterday to give Northwestern a 2-1 lead. Now it's O'Donnell scoring again to make it 3-2 Maryland. Now runner also on second base. So tough spot to be in if you're the Maryland pitcher.
Pinkston's able to trade places with O'Donnell, and now Calarco with a tying run and position. And Maryland has no interest in facing Anthony Calarco. They're going to intentionally walk him and get to face Jay Bashirs, who is 0 for 3 today. You have to imagine a pretty smart move, at least in theory, for Rob Vaughn. Calarco coming into that at-bat was 1 for 1 with 2 walks and a single, and Bashirs is 0 for 3, including a double play. That will put the go-ahead run on base, though. And the first pitch from Belgrave to Bashirs on the outside corner.
Only went out, though, so far in this inning, so Maryland has to be careful with letting runners come on base.
That will open up the double play opportunity, though, for the Terps. They can get a ground ball in the infield. 0-1 well outside to Bashirs, a ball and a strike. Has been a tough weekend for Bashirs, as we've chronicled. Just 1 for 9, did have an RBI yesterday. And a pair of strikeouts on Friday night. Pop out and 2 pop outs and a ground out today, rather. 1-1 just below the knees, 2 balls and a strike. One of the bigger spots in this ball game. Northwestern has not been without their opportunities today. They're just 1 for 5 with runners in scoring position in the ball game. Just 1 for 9 overall with a runner on base. 2-1 offering. Missed it low and outside, 3-1. And you certainly don't want to load the bases if you're Maryland for the DH Stephen Rustich awaiting on deck, who's already walked twice today. Lead runner is Pinkston. Trail runner is Calarco. 3-1. Missed it low and outside. 5-pitch walk, and the base is full of Wildcats yet again here in the 7th.
And
As
again,
Belgrave,
with only one out. Only one out again for the Terps with these bases loaded. So Maryland once again in a tough spot now, only up a run. This is really starting to look a bit like yesterday with the bullpen struggling to secure the win.
Mike Morrison is going to go out and have a chat now. The Maryland pitcher.
Designated hitter Steven Rustich.
Rustich does not have a hit this season with the bases loaded. Now would certainly be a time to do it. First pitch outside. Pinkston is at third after the double. Calarco at second after the intentional walk. Bashir is at first after the distinctly unintentional walk. 1-0 to Rustich. Missed it outside, 2-0. And it's got to be one pitch, one spot here if you're Steven Rustich. Belgrave will have little choice other than to throw one that Rustich can certainly turn around on. 2-0. Skips briefly away from Schliger, not far enough for Pinkston to think about going, especially given the situation. And it's 3-0 now to Rustich, who you'd have to imagine has the red light here, Ben. It would be a risky move to swing 3-0 with the bases loaded.
Yeah, even though there are some gaps in the outfield, going for a bunt could be a wise move. We saw that the last time the Wildcats scored. We'll see if they do it again.
See if the bat's able to leave Rustich's shoulder in this at-bat. Belgrave comes set. Brings home the 3-0. Missed it inside, ball 4. A 4-pitch walk to Steven Rustich, and this ball game is tied at 3. Pinkston comes home to score, and including the intentional walk, 3 straight free passes here in the 7th inning. And that is going to be it for Nigel Belgrave as Rob Vaughn comes out of the dugout, and he will make a move to the bullpen. Tie ball game here in the top half of the 7th inning, and Northwestern far from done offensively as they still have the bases loaded and only the 1 out. Vincent Bianchina, the ever-dangerous third baseman for the Wildcats, stepping up to the plate next. And the first offering coming up from Falco. It skips to home plate. Schliger with a nice play. And it is 1-0.
It's Falco's ball game as long as he could keep this up, because the rain is starting to come down a little bit. They've brought the tarp out in the bullpen, so it's Falco as long as he could play well.
And that adds another dimension into this ball game, especially if it stays tied. We are into official game territory, but we need to find a winner. As the 1-0 offering from Falco is hit in the air, foul territory, first base side. Costas going to give chase, and he's not going to have room as it gets out of play. It is worth noting, in case this is your first ball game tuning in to watch Maryland, that Bob Turtle Smith Stadium is almost an entirely artificial turf. The only true dirt is on the pitcher's mound, so it can withstand the rain a little bit better than some other around the conference. But if the rain continues to be a factor, that could certainly impact play today. 1-1 to Bianchina. Hit back up the middle. The shortstop Keister moves over, flips to second base for one turn. That's all they're going to get. And an RBI ground out for Vincent Bianchina makes it 4-3.
Northwestern with all the momentum now. You saw in the last score from Rustich, he was pumped heading to first base, and the momentum just keeps going higher for these Northwestern Wildcats, coming from 3-1 down, now to take a 4-3 lead. Here in the top of the 7th.
Ball wasn't hit all that hard. Bianchina runs really well. So it was never really going to be an opportunity to turn to double play, as the rain is really starting to come down now, and the ponchos have come out in the stands, the umbrellas have come out in the stands, and the bats have come out for the Wildcats here in the 7th. 3 runs to take a 4-3 lead. Here's Bennett Markinson, 8th batter of the inning with runners at the corners and 2 away. First pitch just misses a little bit outside, maybe up high as well. It's 1-0. Well, both of these teams have seen this film before yesterday. After a scoreless outing from the starter, the bullpen for Maryland unable to keep the lead. 1-0. Foul tipped into the glove of Schliger. It's really coming down now here at Bob Turtle Smith Stadium.
That adds a whole different element to this ball game. Now with Northwestern taking the lead and the rain coming down just makes everything harder to see. Everything gets a little slippier, so.
Throws home, throws to first could be a little bit more adventurous. As the 1-1 runs outside, it's 2-1. Runner at third base now is Bashirs. Rustich out to second, and Bianchina is at first. Rustich was cut down on the fielder's choice. 2-1 offering. Checked his swing, fouled back. And it's 2-2. Maryland in the bottom half of the 7th inning will send 5, make it 6, 7, and 8. Don't play. It will actually be 5, 6, 7 with Shaw making the final out, trying to steal second base. Apologies. And Maryland's going to provide the home plate umpire with a new set of baseballs here. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs here in a 4-3 ball game. 3 runs in the top half of the 7th inning, combined with the 1 in the 6th for the Wildcats, have given them their first lead of the day. Falco just trying to get out of this 7th inning. Runners on the move from first to second, and he'll reach on defensive indifference.
Kevin Keister back in the outfield. No one there to make that play. Good recognition from Bianchina.
2-2 offering from Falco with now 2 in scoring position. Bounce to the right side. Keister is there on the edge of the artificial outfield grass. Throws to first base in time. And the side is retired, but the damage is done. 3 runs for Northwestern in the top half of the 7th inning. It's time to stretch in College Park. Wildcats with their first lead of the day on Big Ten Plus. Taking care of their opportunities, and Northwestern failed to, as flipped in the top half of the 7th inning when the Wildcats put up a crooked number. First pitch to Costas downstairs, a ball and no strikes. 8 runners left on base for Northwestern, just the 1 for Maryland, who have not had all that much traffic on the base paths, but have gotten some extra base hits to really make it count for their 3 runs of the day. 1-0 to Costas, downstairs 2-0. Maryland looking for a leadoff base runner, as they did in the 6th inning with a leadoff double off the bat of Luke Schliger. They were able to bring him home on a pair of flyouts to move him to third and home respectively, and now Costas way ahead in the count, 3-0. The rain has subsided a bit, but it is still definitely coming down here at Bob Turtle Smith Stadium. Most of the crowd is now in the concourse with the shade and the cover up above them. Still a couple of troopers with their ponchos out in the stands. And Reed Smith out on the hill trying to navigate this bottom half of the 7th inning. 3-0 to Costas, taking all the way, taking downstairs, and a 4-pitch walk will lead off the 7th over the St. Louis Billikens. Runner at first base and nobody out for Maryland. The runner is Maxwell Costas. The batter is Troy Schreffler. And the first pitch to Schreff is at the knees, and it's 0-1.
It's a big at-bat for the Northwestern pitcher. Schreffler has been the best Maryland offensive player today. He'll need a little bit more if Maryland wants to get their lead back.
Solo home run back in the 2nd inning. Double and run scored back in the 5th. 0-1 offering to him. Here is Lace back up the middle and into center field for a base hit. 3-hit day for Troy Schreffler. He's a triple short of the cycle, and the Terps set up here with runners at first and second and nobody out. College Park.
There you go.
Smarzlak is 1 for 2 with an RBI single back in the 5th inning. It was something of an excuse-me swing, a check swing, but it went against the shift. Squares to bunt here, pops it up to the third base side, charging in as Bianchina. He's not going to get to it. And it drops foul, 0-1.
A little upset with himself, but not much he could do. That was a long run to make, but it was in foul territory. So a dangerous situation for Bobby Smarzlak.
Seen this weekend, Northwestern put a shift on against Smarzlak with 3 on the left side of the infield. That's not the case here. A little bit more traditional of a look with the shortstop, Livermore, keeping Costas honest over there at second base. Schreffler not being held on as the trail runner. 0-1 Smarzlak again squaring around. This time gets it down. Only play is going to be at first base, and it is not going to be in time. With all the rain falling down. First pitch to Petrutz, low and outside. Great stop from Markinson, and it had to be. We get one more look at the bunt. It was perfectly placed to the third base side. Hanks thought about it. And looked like that did pull Calarco off the back. Would have been really tight if Calarco was able to keep that foot on the base. Marszalek was running well. 1-0 to Petrutz. Hit to the right side. Moving over is Herrera. He boots it, and everyone's going to be safe. Schreffler's on his way home as well. 2 runs are going to score as it eats up Patrick Herrera, and Maryland takes the lead back.
There's the rain coming to.
Is able to come home and score as well. Does Marszalek to second base, Petrutz to first, and it will be an E2 to allow Petrutz to reach and to allow 2 runs to come home and score. First pitch as Keister squares on to bunt, drops down a good one. Going to be a tough play over at first base, and this one's going to be made. Keister, though, able to drop down the bunt to allow 2 runners to advance, and he'll get an ovation in the Maryland dugout. With a runner at third, Marszalek, and those long strides of his. First pitch to Schliger, way out in front, 0-1. Bubba Alleyne awaiting on deck, as they call him Bubba. Outfield playing just about straight away. The left fielder, Pinkston, is the one furthest in as Schliger fouls it off the end of his bat. It's 0-2. Trail runner is Petrutz. After the error from Herrera, allowed 2 runners to score. Maryland with 4 runs in the last 3 innings to take a 5-4 lead. 0-2 to Schliger. Bounce back over towards Herrera, goes home with it, as Marszalek is going to be safe at the plate. Got it in under the tag. And 9, but a solid last outing for him in the midweek against Milwaukee. One scoreless inning in what was an 8-0 win for the Wildcats. Alleyne to the lefty batter's box, the switch hitter against the righty throwing Pate, and the first pitch well outside. And it's 1-0. Fifth pitcher today used by Northwestern. This was a Grant Comstock start. He went 4 1/3 innings. Then Jack Saucer, Reed Smith, Parker Hanks, and now Kellen Pate. Runner at third base is Petrutz. The runner at first base is Schliger. And a 1-0 offering from Pate to Alleyne, squares around to bunt, pulls back, it's 2-0. Maryland's employed the squeeze a handful of times this season. Wonder if Alleyne was ever committed to actually getting the bunt down or whether it was just to try to throw off Pate. And we'll see if Alleyne is swinging away here or taking a strike against the new Northwestern reliever. 3 on the right side of the infield, as you can see, for the Wildcats. A lot of room on the left side if Alleyne can go the other way. 3-0. And Nick LaRusso, who's been as locked in as any Maryland player over the last week, looming on deck. See if the green light is on here for Alleyne, the bottom of the 7th. Offering, taking all the way, at the knees for a strike. Certainly not a pitch Alleyne would have offered at in the situation, but a good comeback pitch for Pate to get back in the count.
Looked a little bit off speed. That was a good throw from Kellen Pate.
2 more righties warming up in the Northwestern pen. I'm sure the Wildcats need them here in the 7th. 2 costly errors here in this frame against the Wildcats as well. 3-1 offering to Alleyne. Swung on and missed out in front of a changeup, and it's 3-2. Had him totally fooled there, and Pate's done really well to get back in this at-bat. Big opportunity for Alleyne, sitting over 400 this year with runners in scoring position. Payoff pitch with the runner from first on the move. It's bounced to the right side. Moving over is Herrera. He's going to get there. Throw over to first base is in time, but another run scores as Petrutz makes it 7-4. 1-0 to LaRusso. Fastball with plenty of pop, but it missed it outside. It's 2 balls and no strikes, and here comes the rain once again. It has come in waves, but it hasn't really subsided over the past half hour or so of real time as this 7th inning has extended and extended, and certainly has not made life easy for any of the fielders now for Northwestern. The 2-0 at the knees for strike one.
Took a look at my phone a little bit before. This rain is supposed to keep going until about 3 o'clock. It's just over 2:30 now, so this is going to keep up for a while.
These two teams were hoping by moving this game an hour earlier they could beat the weather, but Mother Nature's caught up to everybody. And Maryland has caught back up to Northwestern. 2-1 to LaRusso. Inside, gets away from Markinson, and Schliger will move up 90 more feet as he heads to third base. And a 3-1 count coming up to LaRusso. Matt Shaw awaiting on deck here in the 7th inning. This is the 8th bat. Is responsible for the runner over at first base in Schliger. 3-1 to LaRusso. Fouled back up and over our heads, and the count's full. Still nobody up in the Maryland pen. It's been a lot of real time since David Falco has been able to toe the rubber with this extended bottom half of the 7th inning and the pitching changes as well. But you'd have to imagine Falco will be back out there for the Northwestern 8th. Payoff pitch to LaRusso. Bounced foul to the third base side. We'll do it all over again. Kick save and a beauty from Matt Swope to third base. Deep breath for Pate. Payoff pitch to LaRusso. Inside, he lost him. And the 9th batter of the 7th inning will come to the... And he faces this situation here with runners at the corners and 2 outs at the bottom of the 7th inning. Wildcats chasing the game by 3 runs as the 9th batter of the inning will step up to the plate in the form of Matt Shaw. Reed Smith started this inning. Parker Hanks and Kellen Pate each got 1 out. Now Shaw bounces 1 out towards the second baseman, Herrera. Fights through the rain and throws over to first base. 1 pitch is all Utagawa needs to get out of the 7th inning. But the damage done for Maryland. 4 spot here on the bottom half of the 7th inning. And the Terps lead by 3 as we head to the 8th, and the rain falls on Big Ten Plus. Terps lead. It was 7-4 Northwestern, the final score one day ago, and Maryland's been able to turn the tables here on Sunday. First pitch is in there to Herrera. In case you're just joining us, the weather certainly playing a factor in this one. It is a wet one, and you can see the rain continuing to fall pretty heavily here in College Park. Falco delivers that one that runs downstairs.
Difference between this 8th inning and last 8th inning is the run support for David Falco. This time he finds himself up 7-4 as opposed to just 1-0. Maryland looking to avoid blowing yet another lead. They already got out of the last inning, regaining their lead. We'll see what Falco has to deal.
Herrera is 0 for 3 today, looking to reach for the first time in this ball game. Squares around to bunt, pulls back, takes one on the outside corner. Didn't like the call, but it's 2-1. Ethan O'Donnell awaiting on deck, Livermore to follow. Herrera was the only one who didn't get to bat in that 7th inning. Wildcats sent 8 batters to the plate. A 2-1 offering from Falco is a 59-footer, and it's 3-1.
Well, probably lucky Herrera didn't bat. He's been their best batter this season, as we mentioned before. Now getting a chance to do something in the 8th inning, but now finds himself up 3-1 with a chance to get on base with 1 more ball.
New baseballs coming up here, being introduced into this one. Obviously, with the slippery effect of the baseballs, going to want to change them out more frequently than usual. Herrera out of Skyline High School in Mesa, Arizona, a freshman. His high school just 23 minutes drive from the Chicago Cubs spring training facility. Now moving to Evanston, Illinois, not too far from where the Cubs play their regular season ball at Wrigley Field. Facing this 3-1 count from David Falco with nobody out to start off the top half of the 8th inning. Here it comes. It's swung on and missed. Good-looking fastball. And that was strike 3. Apologies there, as the foul ball did make it the second strike, and so that's strike 3, and there's 1 gone here in the 8th. That will send O'Donnell to the plate. Righty versus lefty matchup as Costas, the first baseman, creeps to the edge of the infield grass. And Tardy on a fastball to make it 0-1. O'Donnell 1 for 3 on the day. Single and run scored back in that 7th inning. Single led off the frame. Falco trying to get through a clean top half of the 8th inning, and Maryland trying to shut the door on what would be yet another series win. This one's lifted in the air down the left field line. That sends Marszlak back towards the corner with his hand up against the wall. He leaps up to make the catch. Nice play from Bobby's Marszlak to navigate the corner out there right in the NCAA regional sign, and there's 2 gone.
I thought that was going over the fence. That looked really, really deep. It was at the warning track. Ball got punted in a little bit there with the clouds, so good eye from Marszlak to make the important catch.
Livermore will step up to the plate next as we get one more look at the play from Marszlak. O'Donnell trying to send the ball the other way as the first pitch is in there for a strike, and you can see Marszlak with that bare hand reaching out for where the wall is. Trying to make sure he knows exactly where he's situated on the field, and was able to track it down, and there's 2 away. Maryland's only lost 2 of 3 in one weekend twice so far this season. One was a series loss on the road at Dallas Baptist. It's 1-1 to Livermore, dropping 2 of 3 on spring break trip for Maryland. And then they lost 2 of 3 at the Keith LeClaire Classic as well in Greenville, North Carolina, back in the first weekend of March. That was the 3 different teams, though, losing games to Michigan and East Carolina, bookending a win against Indiana State. Now 2-1 to Livermore. All 3 of those teams, incidentally, Michigan, Indiana State, and East Carolina, went to the NCAA tournament a year ago. 3 pretty good ball clubs. And, of course, the Terps and Pirates met up in the Greenville Regional and the Greenville Regional Final in the 2021 postseason. Owens bounce to the right side. Kevin Keister's up with it. Throws over to first base, exactly what the doctor ordered for David Falco. A 1-2-3 inning gets him out of the 8th, and we are on our way to the bottom half of the 8th inning. 7-4 Terps on the bottom half of the 7th inning when all 9 batters stepped up to home plate and 4 came across to score. First pitch inside to Costas, who started off that 7th inning with a 4-pitch walk. And 4 pitchers later, David Utagawa trying to navigate a clean 8th inning, give his offense a chance in the 9th. 1-0 upstairs, it's 2-0. There's nobody out there in the Maryland bullpen, not just warming up, but at all. They've completely vacated as the rain continues to fall down. And it looks like a more crowded than normal dugout over there on the third base side for Maryland. So I think some of them realized, hey, we're sitting out here in the rain, and the position players are over in the covered dugout, so we're going to go join them. And Falco continuing to roll at the moment on the mound for Maryland. 3-0 count here to Costas. Certainly can't blame him for wanting to find some cover here. It has been raining steadily for quite some time now.
We got a good spot here also.
Oh yeah, we can't complain with the covered press box, to be sure. Impressed at the number of fans that are still out there not in the covered concourse, as it's 3-1. Most of the crowd has stuck around in that covered concourse back behind home plate, but a few troopers, especially to the third base side,
they're going to get rewarded.
Tough it out.
Their seats are going to be pretty wet when they come back to them. If they come back to them.
Some umbrellas out as well. Some people more prepared than others. The 3-1 runs upstairs. It's a 5-pitch walk to Costas. Troy Schreffler's been rewarded for a pretty good day at the plate himself. He's reached base 3 times. He's a triple short of the cycle. As the first pitch is hammered in the air to left center field, that's going to get down for a base hit. So no cycle for Schreffler, but 4 hits on the day for him is a pretty solid consolation prize. And there's 2 aboard here with nobody out in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Or is it first and second and nobody out here in the bottom half of the 8th inning? Squaring to bunt and now pulling back is Bobby's Marszlak. And it is 1-0 to the big left fielder. Yeah, it's certainly going to be tough, too, especially with the pace that this game has slowed down to. It started off awfully quick with just the 1 combined run in the first half of this game. And then 10 combined runs since the bottom half of the 5th inning. Both teams have gone into their bullpen. Northwestern's a bit deeper. Zmarzlak gets this one down on the third base side. The pitcher is going to throw over to first base, and a nice throw from Utagawa to get Zmarzlak. And there's one away, but two more runners in scoring position for the Terps. First pitch to Petrutz, well up high and outside. Nice snag from the catcher, Markinson, to keep Costas right where he is.
Saw him miss on one of those pitches also when he was warming up, so something to watch. Kobe Mo.
Have to imagine anything on the ground that's corralled by the infielders, they'll be coming home with it. Costas at third, not the best of speed for him. Yet to attempt a stolen base this year. And a tantalizing changeup that catches enough of the zone to make it 1-1. Outfield, relatively deep at center and right. At left, Pinkston a couple of steps further in. 1-1 is downstairs, 2 balls and a strike.
Another off-speed pitch there from Kobe Mo. That one, a slider.
See what the righty throwing Mo is able to do against the lefty hitting Petrutz. ERA just a hair over 4 for Mo at the moment. And the 2-1 offering. Bounced foul to the first base side, 2-2. This is the 16th appearance on the season for Mo. His 7th of the year in conference play. Working out of the set. Just above the belt. Brings it home to Petrutz. Curveball missed it outside. And the count runs full. First base open. Kevin Keister awaiting on deck. Then the top of the order after him. Payoff pitch from Mo to Petrutz. Here it comes. Well up high and outside. Costas on his way home, and he is going to score the head first dive. Good read from Maxwell Costas. He was off immediately. First baseman Calarco holding the runner on. Third baseman being Kina on the edge of the artificial infield grass. Keister 0 for 3, squares around to bunt, pulls back. Ball and no strikes. Technically 0 for 2, actually. Keister is able to get a sacrifice bunt back in the 7th inning. And we'll see if the squeeze play is once again in effect with Schreffler, who runs really well over at third. Rob Vaughn's been able to put the game in motion a handful of times today. Half swing there for Keister. He was fooled, and it's 1-1. 8-4, Maryland leads. They've scored in 4 straight innings. With a notable one, the 4 spot in the bottom half of the 7th inning to reclaim the lead, and one here in the 8th inning for insurance, chance for more. 1-1 from Mo. Squares to bunt, pulls back, 2 balls and a strike. And the offense, when you look at it the past couple of days for Maryland, has really been going. The midweek against Navy, an 18-10 win. Then Friday night, 13-0. They only put up 4 runs against Northwestern yesterday. That's 43 runs over the past 4 games for Maryland, and this one's not done. It's a good recipe for success for Rob Vaughn's team. 2-1 offering to Keister, low and away. 3 balls and a strike.
Maryland not too far off from that 26-run effort against Towson in the end of March as well. So Maryland bats have been hot this season.
I was here at Bob Turtle Smith Stadium as well. 26 runs for the Terps against the Tigers, in-state rivals. Maryland with another DMV rival up on the docket next against Georgetown on Tuesday. 3-1 to Keister, breaking ball, missed it low and inside. Another 5-pitch walk, and the base is full of Terps here in the 8th inning. With the 1 extra base hit, a pretty productive day at the plate for the lefty. First pitch, low and inside. Nice stop from Markinson, reaching back across his body. And it's 1-0. Schliger doesn't have a hit with the bases loaded this season. looking to change that here and really break open in this ball game. Give Maryland some much more breathing room. They've ducked on the pond here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. 1-0 from Mo. Fouled away to the third base side. Heads up and over the bob. That's 1-1.
Want to see how well Kobe Mo could control his pitches with the bases loaded. If anything gets away, then could be in trouble.
40 RBIs on the season now for Schliger when you factor in the one earlier today, last inning. Chance for a couple more here. 1-1, bounce foul to the first base side this time. Ball and 2 strikes. Chris Alleyne waiting on deck. Does not have a hit yet today, Alleyne, as Schliger gets a towel too. 1-2. Poked foul, third base side. It's going to get out of play. We'll do it all over again. Hopping over the Northwestern bus.
That was close.
Yeah, you're playing with fire down there on that third base side. Right next to the football stadium, so oftentimes there's a bus parked either for baseball or football or lacrosse out there. That's right in the splash zone. 1-2 to Schliger. Breaking ball just missed it outside. The Northwestern traveling faithful wanted it. That's 2-2. Ron Whiting calling balls and strikes today. We'll see what Mo comes back with here, if he goes back to the fastball or back to the off speed. Kicks and fires the 2-2. Once again, sliced foul down the third base side. We'll do it all over again. Conditions have played a factor. The bullpen's played a big factor in this game for both teams. It's where most of the runs have come from. Grant Comstock started this game for the Wildcats. He went 4 1/3, gave up 2 earned runs. And a 2-2 to Schliger, hit him on the back foot. And that is going to score another run for Maryland.
Schliger in a bit of pain on that one. Doing a little bit of circle after taking that pitch off the foot, but looks to be okay.
First offering to Alleyne. Fastball with good velocity. And it's 0-1. Take one more look at the hit by pitch to Luke Schliger. And it looked like it hit him right there on his back heel. 0-1 to Alleyne. Softly hit to the first base side. Foul, 0-2.
Want to see what Alleyne could bring other than just those big shots that he's been bringing all day. See if he can maybe put something a little bit softer and just bring runs home.
The RBI ground out was the first of his outs not recorded in the air. Got a big piece of a fly out in the 4th inning out to right field that sent Bashirs up against the wall. He says this 0-2 from Mo. Bounce back up the middle, moving over is Livermore. Only play is going to be at first base. Picked out nicely by Calarco for the second out of the inning, but another run comes home to score. And Maryland's 3-hole hitter with 1 RBI under his belt today. Facing this first pitch and lacing it out towards right field, moving over as Bashirs towards the line. It's going to drop foul. And it's 0-1.
Runner's got to be a little bit more careful, both on offense and on defense with these slippery conditions. Don't want to slip and force yourself into an error.
Russo is 0 for 2. Pop out in the first. Fly out in the 4th up against the screen. Bashirs was able to navigate in foul territory. Had a sac fly in the 6th inning, walked in the 7th. That's his day. 0-1 offering. Nice looking breaking ball that dropped in there. It's 0-2. Northwestern will have the top of the order in the top half of the 9th inning. Starting off with Andrew Pinkston in the 9th. The first business to attend to here in the 8th as the 0-2 is swung on and missed. 3-pitch strikeout of Nick LaRusso, and the 8th batter of the 8th inning is down on strikes. But some more insurance for Maryland as they get 3 more in the 8th inning. We're on our way to the 9th. Northwestern needs 6 to tie, 7 to take the lead. At stake for Maryland, yet another series win. It would be every series in the Big Ten so far won if they can shut the door on this ball game, as it's 1-1.
And good prep for next week against Rutgers.
Took 2 of 3 against Penn State, took 2 of 3 at Minnesota, swept Ohio State, 2 of 3 against Illinois, and that's a scary looking tumble for Pinkston.
Trying to back out of that one. It was way out of the zone. I think just caught him by surprise more than anything.
And he'll head over to first base, and the trainer going to go have a quick peek over at him. And he'll take the walk over to first base with him. And here is Calarco, who has intentionally walked the last time his spot was up in the order. That was back in the 7th inning. Takes a first pitch fastball in the inside corner, just missed the inside corner, 1-0.
Pinkston even leading off a little bit off that first base mound.
His run only matters in the context of several more, as the 1-0 fastball is on the inside corner. This time catches enough of the zone to make it 1-1. Calarco's reached base all 4 times he stepped up to the plate. 3 via the walk, 2 unintentional, 1 intentional, and then 1 single to lead off the 6th inning. He's ahead in the count here, 2-1 at the tail end of the month of March. 2-1 to Calarco is crushed in the air to right field. Moving back is Schreffler to the track, to the wall. He leaps up, and it's off of the wall, off of his glove. On his way to third base is Pinkston. He gets the stop sign. And runners at second and third and nobody out. Boy, Calarco did not miss a home run by much.
The only reason it wasn't a home run is because of Schreffler. His glove was able to just knock that down a little bit. That was heading over that yellow line over on the fence, but a good play from Schreffler to keep it in the field.
And 1 walk did not record an out in that 7-4 loss to Northwestern. Breaking ball in there on the outside corner, 0-2.
One thing to note as we move along through this inning is that the rain has stopped. Umbrella's going away, so conditions a little bit better for both infielders and outfielders.
Opportunity for Hine to regain some of his confidence. 4.43 ERA for the reliever, and the 0-2 fouled right back to the screen, and the count stays the same. It would certainly be a comeback to write home about for Northwestern, as they will hop a plane back to the Chicago area after this one. Down by 6 runs at the moment, in need of scoring in bunches. 0-2 from Hine. Breaking ball swung on and missed. And the first out of the 9th inning comes at the hands of Jay Bashirs.
2 great pitches from Sean Hine on that at-bat, both finding the back right corner of the zone, able to get an important out.
So here's Rustich. Maryland will happily trade an out for a run, with the infield playing back as per usual. And another breaking ball is in there, 0-1. Boy, Hine, when he has that breaking ball, it is awfully difficult to hit. The fastball doesn't need to overwhelm you with velocity, because when you have to worry about that breaking ball, the fastball can zip right past you. And so far he's got the Northwestern hitters off balance here in the top half of the ninth. Goes back to the fastball that time. It's outside, though, and a ball and a strike. Ryan Van Buren started off this top half of the 9th inning, hit Andrew Pinkston in the leg, and then gave up a long double to Anthony Calarco, and that was all that Rob Vaughn needed to see to go and get Sean Hine. Able to lay off of the breaking ball that time was Rustich, 2 balls and a strike. 6th pitcher of the day used by the Terps. This was a Nick Dean start. 5 innings for him, a scoreless baseball. Only gave up 1 hit, but walked 4, struck out 3. And a 2-1 runs upstairs and inside. It's 3-1 now to Rustich. Then Nick Robinson, Nigel Belgrave, David Falco, Ryan Van Buren, and now Sean Hine, 2 outs away from giving Maryland another series win and another win at home.
Still some activity in the bullpen if they need it.
3-1 offering. In there, Rustich was already on his way to first base. He's going to be called back, and the count's full.
Seen Rustich get emotional, get excited so far. When he tied the game back at 3, he was very excited running the first base and almost thought he had that opportunity to walk it once more.
The junior trying to lift his team a little bit closer. Payoff pitch from Hine. In there on the outside corner, strike 3.
How the turntables. 1 second you're walking at first, you think you get ball 4. Walking back to the dugout on strike 3.
So it's up to Vincent Bianchina to keep this top half of the 9th inning alive. And Sean Hine looking to close the books on what would be the 19th win here at Bob Turtle Smith Stadium this season. First pitch is in there, 0-1. Maryland trying to improve to 11-4 in conference play. to get their 35th win of the season overall, if they can finish it off. 0-1. Hit to the left side and through for a base hit. One run's going to come home to score as Marszalek comes up throwing, so stopping at third base is Kolarko. But an RBI single for Vincent Bianchina keeps this ball game alive. It's 10-5.
That's a clutch hit there. Able to keep this game going just a little bit runner, just a little bit longer, excuse me. And now Northwestern with runners on the corners.
So here's Markinson as the tying run moves into in the holes position. But John Hines still just one out away. Patrick Herrera waiting on deck. Ethan O'Donnell after him. O'Donnell representing the tying run still in the dugout. First pitch, another breaking ball for Hine. He's relied heavily on that. As we get another look at the base hit from Bianchina, just going the other way with it. Nice piece of hitting to get himself an RBI. 5th knock of the day for the Wildcats. Hine delivers. Just missed. Even up at a ball and a strike. Runner at third base is Kolarko. Runner at first base is Bianchina. That one just below the knees. 2-1. Hine working fairly quickly. Already into his set above the belt. And now we'll check back on the runner at first base, Bianchina. Not sure Costas was expecting that.
Would have been
2 balls and a strike is the count. Hine brings it home. On the outside corner, 2-2. And now Hine and the Terps really knocking on the door. We'll see if he goes back to the off-speed that he's had so much success with today, Hine. 2 on, 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Brings it home to Markinson. It was the breaking ball. It dipped low and outside, and the count's full. That'll start the runner from first, Bianchina, on the pitch. As this pesky Northwestern team certainly not going away without a fight. Payoff pitch. Laced out towards right field. Troy Schreffler is there. It hangs up for him, and Maryland wins the series. It certainly took some doing, but the 4 runs in the 7th inning, 3 more in the 8th inning were enough, and the Terps win it 10-5.